Good evening, friends. Thank you for joining Candid Mina every evening to follow what's happening in India and abroad. Thank you for sending me your useful comments and suggestions. If you believe in this channel, do hit the like button, share with friends, and spread the message. Our only mission is to bring you the truth and both sides of the story. Thank you for your support. Today, we welcome a wonderful guest, Aparna Paliyath, a renowned Bharatanatyam
Hello.
dancer and a wonderful human being. Namaste.
Hel- Hello, everybody. Namaste. I'm so glad to join all of you. Thank you, Meena ma'am, for inviting me here.
Yeah. So, friends, see, I'd like to first give you a small introduction to how I met Aparna before we continue with the conversation. So let me just tell you a little bit about how met Aparna. My interaction with Aparna started when our club BCKA was directing a classical opera called Lord of Lanka, and it's a club started by my mother, Lalita Das, and a classical dance opera based on Ramayana, which had different forms of dance in it. And Aparna played the role of Ravana's sister, Shurpanaga, who curses Lakshmana and asks her brother to destroy him and Lord Rama and bring Sita back with him. Now, I was amazed to see the way Aparna choreographed her steps and changed from a beautiful damsel to a Rakshasi. I want you to watch this before we start the chat. So first, let me just show you some pictures of Aparna, and then we'll move on to the video itself. Yeah. Yeah. So Aparna is a beautiful Bharatanatyam dancer, and she has her own school. It's called Tarangini, isn't it?
Tarang Academy of Arts.
Yes, yes. And she has quite a few students in her classes, and we've watched many of her performances. So these are just some of her pictures in her classical dance form. Yeah, this was the dance opera of Lord of Lanka, where you see Ravana and you see Aparna as Shurpanaga, and then you see his wife and his brother. Yeah, here you see her in her beautiful costume. This is how she changes. So from here, you see the change when she becomes, a demoness, and how she curses Lakshmana. So let's go to the video, Jaydev, if you could just help me with that. Aparna, just give me a minute. Let me just show them
Yes,
the.
yes.
Yes. That's it. Let it come from the. Yes, let it come from. Just a second, Aparna. The volume more. the brilliant performance by Aparna in the Lord of Lanka. In case you want to see the whole one, it is already there. We've loaded it. How did you think about this experience, Aparna, when you worked with us?
If I have to talk about this experience, I may have to go a little deeper into what the total experience was. As an artist, dancer, let us come to it later. But the thing is, when I was invited for this production, I have hardly worked with anybody else other than, usually I have my own productions or my own classes and practices. But when I was invited for this, I had my own set of apprehensions as to how I'm going to manage what will be the kind of, because we also see that there were different dance styles put together. How is it going to work? And how would the script be? Lot of my own set of apprehensions, but I was super thrilled about it, and the character, and that's something which I actually wanted to do. And when I got first invited for this, I was very, very excited about it. And the excitement starts or begins from the point that I was called by Meena Das Narayan, to be very frank. And, I respect her as a person, a writer, entrepreneur. And this statement is incomplete if I don't talk about her mother, who is ever inspiring, ever motivating, forever giving. Because this giving nature is not for everybody. So to be with such great personalities itself was a matter of pride and excitement. So that's what made me commit to it, and the character. And when I went through the script, because I was supposed to do some dubbing for the audio part, then I could sense how meticulous was the script, because I am also into a little bit of writing, screenwriting. So I understand how difficult it is to craft something without a drag. And usage of what I like about Meena ma'am's script, we had some voiceovers and stuff like that. Ideal and appropriate words were used, because usually what we see is in scripting, the people have very good ideas, but how do you script it? It's a craft. So that craft, vocabulary, and the right word at the right place, that was something which was commendable. And the dubbing experience was also very beautiful. So I still remember the day we went to the studio and dubbed it. And it was so uh, encouraging and motivating to listen to my own voice in Chowdaya Memorial Hall, where we did the show.
Absolutely.
Then comes the character. Character was so deep. And Shurpanakha usually is perceived as a demoness, but ma'am could also look at the beautiful side of her.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and the thing is, when we talk about Puranas, even though the poet has written certain characters in certain ways, because it's also ingrained in us, we don't want to classify some people as bad, some people as good.
Yeah. Yes.
We have the tendency, because from the childhood, Duryodhana, Shurpanakha, Ravana, Kamsa, Krishna, everybody is there in our heads. And somehow, maybe through the repeated thoughts, we start justifying them. And this whole thing exemplified that thought. And how nicely she had justified. It was something which I cannot put into words. So, and the thing is, because the underlying thought is nobody is bad, which is very important. And
Which is what the
the
Lord of
feeling,
Lanka also did, Aparna. For example, we
absolutely.
showed the gunas of Ravana,
Mm.
you know, and
Ravana
that it
and
was
Ravana.
something that was preordained. Yeah.
Yes, and the beautiful scene in that, according to me, was that last the Ravana is killed and Lakshmana comes to do pranams to him, which means nobody is bad in this world, and
Yeah.
that
Exactly.
thought needs to be a double underlined in the current society, where we hear a lot of stories of disease and cheats and stuff like that. I believe I think this particular thought process has to get into each and every person. That will clear up lot of sins and lot of commotion in this society. This thought needs
Yes.
to be underlined, because Shurpanaka became like that demoness because of certain reasons. Ravana
Yes.
became like that because of certain reasons. Everybody has a reason to act in a certain way. This understanding was glorified in that whole production, and it was a lot of learning for me, quite a lot of learning, and so many art forms coming together. And one other thing which I felt very good about BCK is the freedom that they gave every artist. Not everybody can do that, because maybe due to the insecurities,
Yeah.
probably, they're not able to just give away like that. But we all had our space without
Yeah.
exceeding its limits.
Yeah.
That was a
Yes.
very fine balance, very
That is
thin
because,
line.
Aparna, because see, you're specialized in a certain art form. Others are specialized in other art forms. So whenever their role would come in, they could bring their specialization inside, without any, hampering, nobody hampering them. So that brought in the flow very beautifully.
Yes. And but the thing is that the thought process that everybody has their space, that is
Yeah.
something which we need to appreciate. That is something which is lacking most of the places.
Yeah.
Because if
Yes.
everybody was having that thought process, world would have been much more better a place to live.
Easier.
Yeah.
So, Aparna, now see, moving on to a very important point. See, most of our viewers are from all around the world, and they worry a lot about their children, imbibing the best of values and best of principles, ingraining everything in a sanatana dharma, getting everything within them, so that they become really wholesome human beings. Now, see, being a dancer and a classical dancer too, you there is strict discipline in your dance form. How does this help a child, define his character, whether it's a girl or a boy?
Actually, first of all, you have to understand this all the classical art forms, that is having a lot of freedom also. Even though it's a discipline, it is also a freedom. See, when in dance, when there is a sanchari, the sanchari means the drama part. The artist is not bound by the music. The music follows the artist.
Yes.
So I would rather put it this way: it is a freedom within a discipline. So the boundaries are marked properly, but at the same time, you have your own freedom, which you have to use. Like I would say, how would you? You have some certain notes with you, and you can spend only that much. How better or how best you can spend it. So it's like that. You have that freedom, but you should know how to use that freedom without jumping the boundaries. So this is one thing. And it should not be just looked upon as discipline. It's a freedom within a discipline. So then how much is the freedom? That needs to be defined. That is the trick of the trade. So
Yeah.
the thing is, this children actually they grab lot of things in the formative years. Like
Yeah.
1 to 3 is the highest, but 10, 15, it just decelerates, like the pace. But in this formative years, when we expose them to all these art forms, see what happens is, in olden days, if you could connect to what I'm saying, if a child cries, mother used to take her out or him out and show the crow, this is the
Yeah.
tree.
Mm.
Nowadays, what do? We give a phone.
Yeah.
So there begins our mistake. So they are not exposed to nature. Nature
Yeah.
is the biggest textbook for any classical art, anything, for any subject. Nature is the first teacher and the best teacher. So exposure to nature is very important, because in the dance also, what are we talking about? It is, the prapanch, that is Purusha Shakti and Purusha and Prakriti Shakti. What is
Yeah.
Prakriti? It is
So
nothing but
here,
nature.
Aparna, see, now see what we're talking about is more of a clinical form of dissection. of what a
Yeah.
classical dance can do to a child. Can you take an example of one of your students and show how the child has evolved, through the dance form, and matured?
Actually, what has happened is, see, all these children, they don't like, back to back practices. And we had a show. That girl had lot of attention issues. Her attention span is not more than 20
Yeah,
minutes. So I was informed about it. And thing is that child was more addicted to junk food. So all these things are kind of signs of slight depressions. So, but the thing is, I have worked with that child, and I have been very strict with her regarding the practice sessions and all that. In a way, she was forced into it, but that child has become a beautiful, not only a beautiful dancer, but she's also a very good professional now. So this is the change that they can,
so what you said
uh,
is so true, Aparna, because see, you've just hit the nail by saying that the expansion, their thought process,
hmm,
it's very limited. They can't
hmm,
concentrate on something for a very long
hmm,
time. It keeps
hmm,
changing, fluctuating, from
hmm,
here to there.
hmm,
So this, yes, as you say, could be a result of the kind of food that they have. Okay,
hmm,
and also the fact that they're constantly on electronic items. They're watching movies or this thing. So there's always entertainment in every form.
hmm.
Now, what you're doing is when you're teaching them, asking them for 1 hour, you better follow what I say, you know. So that's a very difficult thing.
Following instruction is a learning by itself, because not
Yes.
everybody can follow instructions and do things. So
Yeah.
this is very important. And the thing is, I don't give a video of their classes. So
Yeah.
many parents, the first question when they join the class is, can we get a video of the class so that they can practice? But what I tell them is, don't underestimate your child.
Yeah.
The brain is much more powerful than a device. See, when
Yeah.
you learn something properly, paying proper attention to it, it will never go away from your. Till date, I don't
Yeah.
have any written book on the Adavus, on Alaripu. It is all here. But the thing is, I would
But
rather say,
Aparna, yeah, when you seem to be a very traditional sort of teacher because
hmm,
I see many of the dancers doing that.
hmm.
Sending lessons to USA and to other places. So what you're doing is, I think, completely different.
Yeah, but the thing is, that is an online mode. Maybe sending lessons to USA, that is out of compulsion people are doing.
Ah,
In this modern era, we cannot underestimate the power of online media. But the thing
yeah,
is, these are all Gurumukhi arts at the end of the day. And these things have to be, learned from a teacher face to face. Even though you're
yeah,
sending the lessons to USA, I also take online sessions. But the thing is, I make sure that they meet me at least
yeah,
once in 6 months. So that's very important. But my point here is not that. My point here is, when you give a device with a video recorded, you are stopping your imaginary skills
yeah,
there. At that point, when you read a book about Vrindavan, that birds chirping, Krishna coming, Gopikas coming, when you read or when you dance, you're imagining and dancing. So the brain is put into use. But when you give a visual, the imagination stops there. That's what I'm
yes.
trying to tell. They have to be more
Yeah. So
imaginative.
here, yeah. So here, Aparna, let me ask you a question. See, when our children are small, and they keep asking for things, and if have the tendency to spoil them, you'll give them, buy them things and all that.
Hmm.
But once or twice, if you deny them, that is where discipline comes in. Is
Yes.
that similar to what we are doing?
It's not about, I'm not denying them the videos or anything, but then I'm just trying to get them to focus on one thing for a long time. That's all.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, I also sometimes, appreciate them through a chocolate, or it's not like we cannot go against the current, because we have to accept the fact that, they're all exposed to global scenario much more than all of us. So
Yeah.
we cannot close our eyes to it. But the thing is, we should go with the stride and get them into our ways. There are ways of doing it. Maybe, watching a game or something can be a reward for
Yes.
hours of hard work that they do towards dance. Why don't we do that? And my teacher never used to allow me to take off when I was small. To for this exams and all, they never used to allow me take off. But the thing is, right now I do allow them. I say you just go write your exam and come back peacefully, because this that peace element is diminishing in the society in whole.
So,
If you
Aparna, how did you as a child, move towards dance?
In my family, the dance and music was always there. I never felt it was a different thing altogether, because it's all part of the family and our activities. In our olden days, we all must be knowing we had power cuts. Power cut was a time for a Gana Mela. All of us used to sit and sing, and my dad used to play tabla,
And we know
something.
your husband also sings very well.
Yes, yes. So this is, I was naturally drawn, but the thing is, be coming from a conventional Malayali family, they expected me to be into some job. So, and I'm actually qualified in MBA Finance. I'm an MBA Finance grad. And there was a time in my life where I had to take a call whether to go to corporate or art field, because I also enjoy writing. And all of a sudden I lost my mom. It was a very unexpected demise. And the thing is, naturally I was low on my spirits. And I thought of, and my mother also wanted me to work, so I got a job. But then I realized that that is not my cup of tea. That's a time when I realized that I cannot be without art, because when it is always available, you don't
Yeah,
understand the value of it.
value
When
of it.
at that point where I had to take a call, either this or that, I realized this is what I want to do. That is how I started. Then I did my MA in Bharatanatyam from Tanjore University, and started this class. I started with a few students. Then naturally, whatever you do, that's another thing, And I went and told my teacher, I want to start my classes, but I don't know whether I have enough knowledge to do that. So my Guru Bhivanumati, she told, you start teaching. As and when you empty your knowledge, divine will fill you with new ones. So it actually that worked. When I finished teaching one margam, I was already ready with another two margams. So
Yeah,
this is the power of classical arts. So more you
yeah,
give, it's. I would like to quote Vivekananda. He
yeah.
is in one of his speeches. He mentioned, when the windows are closed, the air becomes stale,
Yes.
and he just opened the windows, let the old air go away, and the new ones come into
Yeah,
the room.
absolutely. Yeah.
Like that,
In
that
fact,
same thing
yeah,
works.
yeah. In fact, viewers, what I'd like to say is that, see, when we were working on this opera, we had around 70 to 80 dancers, and each from different disciplines like Odissi, Kuchipudi, different this thing, even contemporary. And Aparna was from the Bharatanatyam school. And what happened was, when we used to meet, all the practices would happen simultaneously in a hall. And during that time, we would all interact, and it is at this time that I found that, see, Aparna is not only a dancer, but she's also a writer, and she's a very, a good human being herself, because her tendency to help people is something that I found very, very surprising, because very few people in this age have the time for others. And I found her in everything, even the way, when we were running, doing the opera, a lot of things to do. Every way she could, she would contribute some help, and that helped us immensely in the conducting the whole show. So here, what I'm trying to tell you is, she's a mother of a son who's also a musician, a singer, and he's now into college, and she manages that. She manages a house, and she manages these dance classes. Plus, as we have been speaking about in the earlier sessions, she does a lot of help, so which itself makes, you can see from the glow on her face that there is something very special about her. Now, this could have been something that she got from her father or her mother. So could you tell us a little bit about that, Aparna? Who did you inculcate these qualities from?
Actually, in as a family, my father and mother, they both believed, their guiding philosophy was, if you do good to others, our children will be taken care by somebody else. So when they,
Yes.
and I used to be very honest, as a child, as a teenager, who used to question everything, everything I have gone through, just like any other child. I told, how is it not? Is it possible? Because who cares about us? But you'll not believe. Whenever I was hitting a wall, a new face would emerge out of nowhere to come and tell you, "Hey, Aparna, do this. This may work. Oh, Aparna, do this." And I'm really surprised. Now my mother is no more, and my father also believes the same thing. And I keep telling my dad, now I feel, they were right. Because at some point of time in our lives, all of us feel that only we are right and parents don't know anything. So I also went through that phase. But the thing is, I would call it rather a little foolish to, do that. But now when these things happened in my life, I feel, yes, they were right. So this is, and as a family, we always stood for appreciative coexistence. You have to
Yeah.
appreciate others, because appreciation is a culture. Not everybody can do that. So, and the thing is, we were not allowed to talk anything about ourselves, because and my mother would, I used to tell her, when I hear my friend's mother speak a lot about my friend, I went and asked her, "Don't you love me?" Then she asked, "Why did you ask this question? You never talk about me. You never talk anything good about me to others." So she would say, "It's not the mother who has to speak, it's the world that has to speak about you. And you're supposed to go and sit in the last row of the auditorium. Somebody has to take you to the front seat, not you have to go and sit there. When somebody calls you to the front seat, that is the time when you are successful as a person." And the same way, the words of my dad. My dad is also in the same page as my mom. So this is what we were taught. And
Yeah.
they also believed
Martin
in
is
helping
asking,
others.
yeah. Friends, you can ask questions as well. Martin is asking, is Bharatanatyam awareness and interest on the rise among youth?
Yes, definitely. Only thing is, our children are torn between two worlds. Because, see, on one side, they see that, there is a lot of prospects in Bharatanatyam. But at the same time, one of my friends, she came and told me, "Akka, if you have to become a Bharatanatyam artist in India, you have to first become an engineer." So because the society is putting pressure, because again, people are unaware of the career path in Bharatanatyam. Actually, it's not like olden days. Lot of festivals, lot of venues, arenas where they can actually excel and even earn their a living. There is actually, only thing is it demands for more discipline and focus, and self motivation is the key, because nobody is going to come and give you anything on the plate. You have to find your path, because if you are into a job, you need not worry about all these things. But artist is like, she can take off whenever she wants, she can work whenever she wants, but ultimately the question is, have you done what you wanted to do? That's all. There is clear cut path, career path in this, people are unaware of. And US universities are giving weightage for this certificates and arrangetrams and all that. Some people are doing all the arts for that, but there are people who are genuinely interested, but they are torn between these two worlds, whether to go on a corporate mode or whether to go on a creative mode. So this is one confusion, and schools are responsible for that, I would say. Schools and the society, because they are under immense pressure of excelling. One of my students came and told me, "Ma'am, I would like to actually take up music or dance, but if I take MA or BA, people would think that I don't have enough intelligence." This is the dilemma. This is the dilemma which our children are going through. Who are responsible? We are responsible, because a fat salary and car and a bungalow is defined as success. It's all about the definition of success that we have told them. The society has drawn a very high picture about all these facilities and materialistic pursuits, and the thing is, they never spoke about intellectual investments.
Yeah,
These are all
absolutely.
intellectual investments.
Yes,
That is
yes.
why it is on the
So,
rise, but
yeah.
still they're struggling to make it happen.
Yeah. So, friends, so again, while working with Aparna, see, it's my experience with her that has made me see, what all qualities this wonderful lady has. Now, see, another thing that I noticed about is, whenever I was in sort of a dilemma, wondering what to do, she always had some sort of solution for it, which I found amazing. I mean, in the midst of a practice, and she used to travel almost take an hour or so to just come from her house for the practice. And there were times when she was not well, health wise as well, but she would never cut down on the practice. Now, see, after all, the success of the opera, she decided to call us for dinner, and I was amazed because there in the kitchen, she was another expert. She had churned out so many dishes, and each one was so tasty. So I was just wondering, where does this woman come from? Did she come from Mars? Because whatever she touched, had that love. That. See, the point that I'm trying to make here is that when people do things, anything, even the most ordinary things, when you put a lot of love and passion into it, it becomes amazing. And that's, and so when I was at her house with her husband, who is also equally talented like her, and who sings beautifully, and he is the actual support for Aparna. He's amazing. I mean, Vinod is amazing. And they live so far away from us that I sometimes used to feel sad that, see, I couldn't interact with her more, because these are the kind of people you should have in your life, because they add so much of richness to your life. And she never shows up. If you see that she's not pushing herself, she's not aggressive. If dance performances come, she does it. But she has her own club where she has these beautiful programs. So you remember when in fact, Dr. Ganesh is also here among the viewers. See, when Ganesh was also discussing, it's this beauty of a person's character, which is a spirituality, which normally comes out, and that's what you start loving about a person. And what exactly Aparna said just now is that, see, it is not materialism, that you should be reaching out to. It is actually, things that, that enrich you, it is everything from your culture, your heritage, everything. See, even if you just read a poem in Sanskrit, you will know the richness of it, and how much, knowledge there is in it, So similarly, Aparna, she's been helping me in a lot of things. And Aparna, coming back to this point about children today, see, we've been having a lot of discussions on how children want to impress their peers. Okay, and what happens in school is that, see, when the peers take to drugs or to other bad habits, they also take it because they think that's fashionable. But after some time, it becomes they can't return, a situation where they can't return. So you've been a mother. What is your kind of advice to parents? How they should watch over their children and be careful. Like there are lots of temptations. So.
Yeah, here actually, the big mistake that all parents make is, we never grew up like this. This statement irritates the next generation. So, yes, we agree, we never grew up like this. Our situations were different, our exposures were different, totally different. So, instead of just making them walk our path, we have to travel with them, you know, travel with them and take them towards our direction. See, because when we travel, we always get drawn to the co-travelers. If the co-travel is traveler is very interesting, naturally we get influenced by that person. So parents cannot be that disciplinarians anymore. But yes, discipline, I also believe that it should not be imposed. It's not an imposed discipline that we want, because I was actually, when I started my classes, one of my friends told, I really doubt whether you can take class because you're not strict. Then I asked, what do you mean by strict? Is it throwing stick on them? Is it whacking them? No. Strictness is getting the right thing out of the person. It can be in a very aggressive fashion. it can be done very gracefully also. So the gracefully getting things done needs a little bit of caliber and a thought and a stroke of love. So the children should have that freedom to come and tell you, Ma, I did this. I know it was wrong, but I did this. The responses should be controlled, because when we start, aggressing upon them, and with all the pressures they are going through in school, the peer pressure, the social pressure, they will just collapse. So instead, it should be a comfy cushion. At the same time, that doesn't mean that you have to justify them. What you have to call a spade, because, and you should have the guts to do that. And how you do it matters. So, okay, you did something. I know I'm not appreciative of this. It could have been done like this. I expected you to do this way. And express your displeasure. There's nothing wrong about it. But do it gracefully, because otherwise, it's not our olden days, because they are under immense pressure, immense pressure. And that's a time when I also say that every child should be exposed to a classical art form, because if they have to excel in that, their mind is full of only, if I teach them a trikala jati, they don't have a space to think about their friends or anything. If they have a small show, they have to think about that piece. So in dance, I would say, one varnam you practice for 500 times, but on stage when you do, it is 501st time, and it's a fresh and new experience, which you have to go through with immense concentration. To get that concentration, to excel, you don't have space for any other thoughts than only this arts. That is why you have
Absolutely.
to fill their minds with good intellect. That's what I was emphasizing, the intellectual investments. Don't invest on an iPad or an iPod or a mobile phone. Invest in sports, invest in classical arts, invest in guitar or something which will keep them occupied. You should not leave a space in their mind where all this not so good thoughts can, I should not be judgmental about anything. The not so good, I would say, thoughts should get in. That's what I feel as a parent.
Yeah. Aparna, Dr. Ganesh is asking you, can we use our Indian classical dance to fine tune our body to do meditation? Because I believe it, but I don't have experience of classical dance. Can you focus light on it?
Of course, dance is a moving yoga. Actually, the hastas that we use in dance, most of them are used in different yogasanas. So, and the thing is, when we do a varnam, uh, you know what has to be done. The moment you get distracted, you go off talam. So that means you have to focus. What is meditation? What is meditation? It is just thinking about one thing for a long time without getting
Yeah.
distracted. What we do in dance and music is nothing but that. That is actually a different form of meditation, I would call. It's which also involves body. It's not just about mind, but also the body. That's what I would,
Yeah.
answer
Yeah.
this question.
Absolutely.
I hope I
Sometimes,
answered this question.
yeah, I think it's just got one more. Got it. Mudras of dance help as well. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. These expressions and use of at least eyes and hands are so useful in teaching a language. I haven't learned dance, but have watched and encouraged my students to learn classical music and dance, says
Of
Smita.
course.
Now, here, yeah, Aparna, see, another question that most boys ask is that, see, when they lean towards classical dance, is that, see, when they dance, other boys make fun of them as if they are gay, to say that they, have got girlish, movements, so they could be gay. So they have to also bear that sort of attack.
Here, I would say why such a scenario has happened. In our past, we can see that some of the boys who have learnt dance, they move around in a little girlish manners. But the thing is, I would say dance, when you start learning, it starts with the imitation of your teacher.
Yeah.
If you imitate for some time, then you imbibe, then you create. So, in the stage of imitation, what happens is when the teacher is a girl or a lady, they tend to imitate them. So, the best solution to this is send them to a male teacher who dances very masculine. That's the only solution to this, because some of the parents come and ask me, can you teach boys? See, I told no problem as far as they're very small. But the thing is, I would always recommend that a male should teach a male. That's what the best solution for this is, because their imitation, everything will be of the male. So it will not
Yeah.
affect their body language and the thought process.
Uh, yeah. Aparna, another thing that I've noticed in the dance circles in Bangalore is that, see, there's a lot of a sort of political pressure among dancers. See, in the sense that, see, if you're a good dancer, you're not referred to, to others, saying that, see, here is a lady called Aparna who's so talented. I mean, she could excel in this role. Okay, if a new story is coming up or a new drama is coming up, so people are not recommended, as per their qualifications or their ability. Why is there so much of enmity among the dance fraternity itself? Why can't they live, and not only live but also push other artists to the front? What is happening here? Why is it like, see, something like, in a film fraternity, too much of competition? What is happening here?
This, I would say, the main problem is there are a lot of dancers available. It's a supply condition. Lots are available, and they have, most of them have done their hard work, and the opportunities are limited. So everybody wants the big piece of the cake. So this is the reason why this competition is so. What we should do is, we should have more schemes. I would say, from the government level, a lot more festivals. And here what has happened is there is lack of sponsorship in the field of art, even though lot
Yeah,
of work is happening. I'm sure for Lord of Lanka, you will know how much work you have put in. I
yeah,
cannot put into words how much she would have worked hard, but all by herself. Meena ma'am would have done it all by herself, and so much of research and studies, and to get the costumes right. How many how many sittings we had to
yeah,
finalize on the costume. So much of work is
yeah,
happening, but the sponsorship is not there. That's another problem. When there is limited resources, lot of dancers, and some of them making a career out of it, this worsens the scenario. So the solution is artists helping themselves. For example, I am trying to bring in a lot more other dancers onto the stage through my festival called Tarangutsav. This year
yeah.
it ended yesterday. So what we are trying to do is one established dancer would come, and all the rest will be upcoming and promising. So that whoever comes to see the established category, they will also see the others, and they get
Yes.
opportunities from there. So that's a good way of referring, because in the audience there'll be a lot of organizers as well. But the thing is, the situation can be eased out only when there is money. There
Yeah,
should be sufficient money, and the dancers are not paid properly. This is a big problem, and no musicians can be called on to support us without paying them. So what happens
yeah,
ultimately? The dancer spends. So within this limited government festivals pay decent amount to these dancers. So everybody wants to do government festivals. So what happens is competition and aggression will only shoot up. So only solution is have more festivals, maybe not on a very grand scale, smaller ones for up to 30, a little
yeah,
more advanced one for 40 and 50 beyond, and have more awards and schemes. And also artists helping each other. So because this insecurity, again, the root cause of all, it is not, I wouldn't call it animosity. It is not animosity, it's just a question of survival
insecurity
and insecurity. So insecurity will go when there is enough platforms,
for
enough
everybody.
remunerations. So even if I do like this, I'll get my what I want. That should be the situation. But we are long, we have to walk a long way for that.
Yeah. So Maya is asking you, does the bhakti bhava of the dance take you into a trance? Because I've seen many performances, the dancer towards the end of the performance tends to magically lose themselves into another level.
Yes. bhakti is actually, especially Bharatanatyam, is rooted in spirituality. Because when we start learning a piece, we don't go through all this. But the thing is, once you start internalizing it, you are walking into yourself. More deeper you go, it's like, this banyan tree. The more rooted you are, more tall you grow. Like that, when you travel within yourself, you will see and connect to that divine power. That is why, and actually this is the bliss that keeps the artist going in all rough weathers. Definitely it is a state of trance. I go through it.
Yeah. Also, another question that I wanted to ask you is that, see, in today's fast age, there are quick fixes for everything. Okay. Now, you've gone through the whole rigor of so many years of learning of dance, honing it, practicing it, going through all the experience of it. But there are a few dancers, who go for quick fixes. And they actually change the complete format of the dance and they say that it's Bharatanatyam when it doesn't resemble the original dance form at all. What do you say to such people who try to fool public by saying that, see, this is a dance form when it has absolutely has no links with the original dance form? So what happens? People get irritated. See, if I'm very passionate about Bharatanatyam and I watch that, I will get irritated and perhaps I would walk out. So why do people think that audiences can be fooled?
Unfortunately, dance is also linked to glamour. So what happens when there is addiction for glamour? You look for instant gratification. So this is what is leading to this quick fame and quick money, and everybody wants to be. And the thing is, this fast culture. See, if you in olden days, the a musician used to sing the ala for 10 minutes, and or 15 minutes. We used to sit and enjoy. Now it is just cut short to 1 minute. Everything they want it very fast, because everybody is in a race to prove themselves smarter than other person. So this is also a personality trait, I would say, because somebody who is wanting to go deep into a subject will definitely go deep into a subject. Somebody who wants this quick fame will go after that. But I would say that, like Minaji told, like, I just walk out of the place. If 10 times people walk out of a performance, she will stop this.
Yeah.
That is
See,
the
I'll tell you,
best.
yeah, without naming people, I'll just tell you, see, what the experience that I've had. See, coming from a land of Kerala, we know the inside out of Kathakali, okay, and how many years it takes for you to learn Kathakali. It's like a university, okay. Now, there are some people who want to, learn it in the short way and then show it the way they want. Now, there is a particular person I've been watching for a long time, who comes with half the dress of Kathakali, and, shows some gestures, which he would have, learned from some teacher for a short while, and everything is done in such a way that the dance, Kathakali dance form, which is so religious, it's all about our Puranas and our stories, is murdered. And people who do not know Kathakali actually think that this is Kathakali. So it is very humiliating for someone who comes from the land of Kerala, where you know that Kathakali is the oldest dance form, and it is murdered in this manner. So, and if you tell them on their face that what you're doing is you're murdering our dance form, they think that, see, what you say doesn't make sense. But as you said, they are making money through it, and they're also killing the dance form. So let me move on to another question. I think, Aparna, quite a few questions coming your way. Let me just take a.
Yeah.
Let me just take. Yeah. Maya is asking, how integral is Arangetam in Bharatanatyam? This is because many parents find it financially tough to arrange Arangetams for the kids.
I would say that, Arangetram is a launch of an artist. Like, they can still perform without Arangetrams. There's no, nothing like you cannot perform without a Arangetram. They can. Actually, I also arrange my students' program. Every alternate years, they get to dance to a live orchestra. They do a proper two items to it. And so that they get exposed to how to mold themselves to dance with a live orchestra. So it's a bit of effort from the teacher's side, but it's worth taking it. And now when the child feels very fascinated and she wants to go to a next level, it's like a graduation. So you need that certificate. You know, you have done that.
Yeah.
This Arangetram is more than a certificate in the sense, in this rigor of practice, they are gaining the stamina to, perform for 1.5 hours on the stage, which they would not get otherwise unless they are really working hard towards it. This is a motivation factor, actually. Yeah, I have to perform on so and so date. I have to perform 8 items. They are given a deadline. So the child will start working towards it. So that way, the stamina and the knowledge and the fine tuning of the artist happens there. Because
Absolutely.
the teacher is focusing on one particular child for months together. That will definitely have an advantage. But never, Arangetram is a prerequisite for somebody to pursue dance. But yes,
Yeah.
some of the sabhas, they ask for people who have completed their Arangetrams to perform on their platforms. That is a fair demand because they want to keep up certain standards. That's all.
So Shaila
Financially,
is
yes, it
asking
is
you.
fair.
Yeah. Shaila is asking you, Aparna, is Indian cultural ministry doing anything to promote our rich culture and art? Is there anything common people can contribute to promote the art form?
Actually, in Ministry of Culture, they have different schemes like production grants, festival grants, and then CCRT scholarships and such things. There are quite a lot of schemes, but there is a lack of awareness regarding all these schemes, and there is a lot of time lag for a person to avail all these grants. I think that needs a fix because if somebody is applying and getting it, it takes a little while for them to, whereas money, we cannot wait for a long time because said the bills that have to be settled have to be settled. So that time lag we need to fix. But definitely they have beautiful schemes for artists. Only thing is on the implementation side, I think, it can be more better. That is there. And the thing is, as a common man, you can definitely take part in crowdfunding of festivals because see, rather than banging on one authority for the whole amount, you split it. I'll take this much from the government, this much from my side, this much from the crowd. So you're making everybody responsible for the promotion of art. And when they spend on your art, they are also more serious as a Rasika. Rather than getting, this, okay, chalo, today is a Sunday, we'll go and watch or dance. When you contribute to it, you also feel a sense of responsibility towards that art form and that artist. It's a very beautiful way of promoting art. I think we should go the because this crowdfunding way because you cannot bang on government for everything. See, not everybody can do everything, but everybody can do something. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what.
What do you think, Aparna, about these reality shows where little children are forced to do vulgar dances and not befitting their body or their structure? Why is this trend coming over? And parents pushing them into doing Bollywood sort of dances, which are actually dances that item girls do in Bollywood movies. So, what do you think about that as a serious the thing of dance form?
I in this I am towards a conventional thought of there's an age for everything, and every age has a grace. So when you're organizing a reality show for a child, it should be around themes that they fit into. They should not be made to do a vulgar piece when they are at age of 8 or 9. It's not that it is acceptable for adults age as well. Not, it's not like that. But the thing is, see, dance as a art form in India, it is actually, it has come a long way in the refinement part. But by doing this, I think this is the thought process behind these kind of activities is to grab attention, because anything negative gets more attention than positive things. you know this attention monging is the basic psychology of this. But I always suggest that uh, the parents should think, should my child participate in this? Is that glamour value more important to you than the child's, because it also involves that personality development, because their child is exposed to this kind of culture at a very young age, so it definitely has an impact on their personality, because it leads to aberrated personality, I would say, aberrated value system, I would say, because let them do things which matches their age. Let them be mischievous. Let them do some pranks. It's fine, but not this. I always suggest that.
Maya is asking you, Vaijayantimala Padmini came from a classical background films, yet managed to maintain a certain dignity of their dance form. But why do we see no such attempt in recent times, exception being Shobana? By which she means, fewer actresses,
Yeah.
come from the dance.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because I would say it is our reluctance to work hard. The path they have taken is tough. Now, everything you want it fast. The results you want it fast. That organic growth of an artist has taken a backseat now. Now, the thing is, I would say right from the age of 3, they are into this visual media like phone and this, that. They also want to come to limelight. And with all this selfie cameras, we are becoming more and more self-centric society. It's a very self-centric society that we are living in right now, because whether we like it or not, we are forced to be like that. So that is the reason, because this Western
So here,
thought is
yeah, here
driven by
in fact,
results.
Aparna, let me just give an example. So we had Vaijayanti Mala, who's in her 80s, come and perform, for our club, and in Chaudaya. And I remember, she took 2 days, she came prior to the function, 2 days before, and she made it a point, to check the lightings, and what kind of lighting would suit her, because when she's above 80, she wouldn't like full light on her face, because she's also grown older, so lighting that would suit her persona, and also the fact that, see, everything right from the kind of color costume that she's wearing, the jewelry, the kind of songs that she selected, and everything in detail, at this age, she did it with aplomb, and we were shocked, the audience was shocked that an 80 plus woman, could dance in this manner. It was surprising. So what you said is so true. They did everything through hard work.
Hard. And I
You
would
know.
say current generation, one 8-year-old child will not dance at the age of 80. It is not possible, because
Yes.
with this
Yes.
fast track, definitely they will be out of the scene by the time they are 35. They will not dance at
Absolutely.
80.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So I think with this, we will end the session. This 1 hour has passed so fast. Aparna,
Yeah.
very interesting talking to you, and I'm sure we'll be calling you again, to speak on another topic. Very interesting. Thank you from our viewers, and from
Thoroughly
me.
enjoyed speaking
And
with you, Minaji. So, and the thing is, even this show, how meticulously you are, covering all the areas, and you are one person whom I really admire. Thank you so much
thank you so much.
for calling me here. And
Yeah.
any association with you is only, pleasant memory for me. Very nice memory
Thank
and
you so
lot of
much,
learning.
Aparna.
Lot of learning. Yes, thank you so much.
It's everything is mutual, Aparna. Your goodness
Thank
also
you.
shines, and
Thanks a
people
lot.
imbibe things from you.
Thank you so
Good
much.
night.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good
and Jai
night.
Hind. And
Jai
Jai
Hind.
Hind.